Okay, Aquarius, welcome to August. I hope July served you and your evolutionary journey. We're going to do a slightly different reading this time for August. We're going to do a 4-card shadow reading. So all using the Stalk Your Shadow Oracle deck, full shadow reading. I think you guys can handle it. It will be both the light and dark aspects of what to expect from this month. So we really want to hit that neutral place. Like all of the hope and all of the good things are going to go play out, all of the shadow and the scary things that we don't want to look at. There's a neutral place there that I would say brings a sense of balance with this work. So we are not overly attached to it needing to be a certain way, moving into themes that might have a resistance around them and getting used to that. So there's nothing that actually throws us too far into attachment either way, right? Because then we go into control, attachment, control, fear. Then all of a sudden, we're acting in ways that is resisting what we fear and therefore attracting what we don't want. Does that make sense? So what we really want to have a neutral gaze, a loving gaze over all possibilities and all paradigms, and choose consciously for ourselves which paradigm we want to invest in. Align with the timelines that we feel serve our highest while trusting our guides to back us up and facilitating more training programs. So something we work with at Ankara a lot is, what training program have you guides put you in? We can see that people go through chapters of learning and growth that represent a big upgrade in their lives, knowing that the upgrade is going to be difficult at times, it's going to be uncomfortable. So if you've watched the video about the basin of safety, check it out. Very often, my students go through a training program to get that basin of safety right. That could be a couple of months, a year, 2 years, to really understand where are their resources leaking, where are their boundaries not great, where are they dysregulated, where are they deficient, and how can they get that very baseline survival idea up and running into feeling safe all the time in the body, feeling abundant, moving into thriving. Nervous system is regulated, which just means you respond to stress well. So the difference is when your nervous system is regulated, something happens in your life that's not ideal. Maybe it scares you a little bit, maybe it freaks you out. A regulated person feels it and experiences it. That's important because there's a lot of people that are quite dysfunctional in this that don't feel anything and don't respond. So we don't want to be like, that was nothing. We want to be like, whoa, that really affected me. That was big. That was crazy. Why was it big? Was it bigger than I feel is appropriate? Is there something else under the surface? And I can bounce back pretty quickly. Dysregulated is either I don't feel anything and I don't want to change, to the smallest problem is a huge deal. So I particularly watch a lot of dysregulated, burnt out, exhausted new parents, and I watch that all those little, and there's so many setbacks and problems in parenting. You're really just solving problems all day long, but they can get very reactive to the small things because they just don't have that capacity anymore to respond well. So regulated nervous system means that you can emotionally regulate well, and it has to be a priority, doesn't it? So it has to be, oh, well, actually something's just happened, or like for a lot of my clients, they're in a minor car accident or something scares them of that nature. Do they have the capacity to feel it, understand it, go through it, clear their schedule to the point where they can integrate, come back into regulation and safety, get back in the car and keep driving? Or do they get straight back in the car and just go, oh, I can't deal with this hustle. I've just got to get to work anyway, sideline that, which means your body stores the trauma for later. Or they never get in the car again. They're just never the same again, right? So it's that ability to be flexible and adapt. That's what we're looking for from the baseline. Then we move up into the higher centers. So the training program for you, Aquarius, this month of August will be based on the octopus card, which is a great card for you, actually. So octopus says, interesting. So if we are only using a small percentage of our brain to do the everyday stuff, drive a car, do the washing, be in a house, go to work, come home, what's happening to the rest of our intellectual capacity? And are we switching that on? And do we have any invitations to switching that on? Some people have to switch on their intellectual capacity for their work, others don't. The octopus is saying there is some level of capacity that you're not even tapping into, that it's a good idea to provide fuel for that thirst and that hunger, right? So are you hungry for more? What are you doing about that? Or are you going into this shadowy place of using your intelligence or your superior capacity to override or control other people? I do see this in very intellectual people sometimes. They draw so much self-worth from their intelligence that they're not willing to risk being wrong or being in the wrong rooms or not being the most intelligent person in the room. And that can feel quite condescending to other people. So it's like, if you have a bigger handle on a system or the way that something works, how can we use that to serve other people? Is there a way that you can serve, help, educate, and teach other people in a very basic way? I'm not asking you to become a university professor. I'm saying, if you feel that there's more neuroplasticity or a psychosomatic need in you that could be used for serving people, then go out there and share your gift rather than using it in these self-depreciating ways, which could be just upsetting everyone around you because you're always telling them that they're wrong, holding it over people's heads as a control mechanism, or, you know, putting pressure on people to really understand it or to know as much as you do. One of the easiest ways we can serve is really just start making some free content about something that you're super passionate about, that you know a lot about. It could be anything from reading books to changing the parts in a washing machine to building furniture. It's like, if you have this capacity to learn and know a lot about something, then why not share it with us? Why not share it from this place of, if you can empower one individual to do something that they can't naturally do, then isn't that a beautiful way to use that extra energy? I think a lot of us long for that. We long to serve, to help, to be in environments where people are thirsty for knowledge. And that can be hard when you need to physically be in a classroom and sign up to a course. But, you know, with our internet world, you could be helping someone out just by putting that information into physicality. So there's some beautiful people out there that know things so much about such strange topics. And maybe they're just so into it, they've read 100 books. Maybe they have learned so much because they're fascinated. And it could be something that a lot of people find trivial or might be a super duper niche, but it feels so much better when we can share that in whatever way is available to us. So helping people with the beginning steps because you know a lot. It reminds me of a family member of mine, and he just had one of these brains that could understand the inner workings of things. And he was very good at helping you with nearly any topic because his brain could understand all the steps. So maybe he had a lot of swords and air sign stuff in his chart. Maybe he had just that brain that's been massaged in the right places. So when I was a kid, if I needed to know about any subject, he just seemed to have this broad range of understanding. And that's what I mean. He could really help you figure out the cogs Even if he didn't know the answers, he could help you move through and understand something easily. What a beautiful gift. I thought that was an incredible genius. And it reminds me of that octopus energy, that super intelligence. And I think we know a lot about certain subjects because we're fascinated and we're drawn to them. But then it's not really about finding people that are on your level, which can be a bit of a restriction. It's really about if someone's here, you can help them understand the learning process, the inner workings, the way to approach it, the way to chunk it down, to dissect it and understand it. So something's happening for you guys this month about using that for the right reasons, rather than telling yourself you're smarter than everyone else, telling yourself a story that nobody understands you, trying to find someone on your level when you could be finding anyone that is just receptive to the information, and learning how to navigate that intelligence. Are you giving it enough fuel? Are you hungry for more and you're not doing anything about it? So you're projecting onto other people. What's going on there? I'd like you to run that training program this month. First card is the 3D card. So in your three-dimensional life, which is the bottom three energy chakra centers, the bear comes through to say, what season are you in? Are you in your power season, or do you need to go into hibernation? Are you in your personal summer, or does it feel a bit more like a personal winter? Is there one sector in your life that is feeling like it's dormant in winter mode? Or is there one sector in your life that seems to be on fire, in the spotlight, ready to go? I want you to check in with your body systems, with your capacity, with your level of safety and your resources. So the bear comes in with a really strong message. If you want to be more powerful, you probably have to rest. Usually people go through a setback and a big rest period before the upgrade comes in. That's the universe saying, like, you better rest. This is going to be big. Because we know when the upgrade comes in, you're not likely to rest because you're having these growth spurts. So maybe from the octopus card, we're going to expand the consciousness into something. Maybe you're going to understand something really well for the first time. It could be an epiphany about your life. It could be a perspective on your past that you haven't seen before. It could be a future timeline that you've never considered. The bear comes in with that fundamental knowing of, we only have so much in our physicality. So the bear can be that powerful because it sleeps for half the year. And maybe that's based on that their systems don't work well in winter. There's no food out there. So they may as well go to sleep than spend all their resources looking around trying to find things. So I think we can get caught up in a society program that values productivity moving forward and growth over rest, for sure, right? But the bear says, if you rest, the upgrade will come. And if the upgrade is here, afterwards you'll need to rest. That's what keeps those lower centers balanced and moving, right? I think that's a really good message. In your 4D life, coming up to the Heart Emperor, the pivot place, the dream space before we go into 5D is the Black Panther. So the Black Panther has the capacity to walk through the darkness, to walk through your fears, not around, not avoiding, not fixing, through the depths of your darkness. So there is a calling here, an invitation to walk through and understand with quite a divine feminine knowing that if you're really good at picking up what other people are afraid of, turn the mirror around, please, and walk through with power the thing that you're most scared of. So there's a few ways we can do that. We can write our fears down, imagine the timeline, feel it in our bodies, and realize that no matter what is brought our way, we can live through it, we can adapt, and we can find a reason and medicine in it. But when the Black Panther shows up, you might even be like going through something that is difficult for you. It might be something you're getting therapy for, it could be a traumatic event. You might even have a nightmare in this dream space that allows you to experience something you're very afraid of so that you can move through it. I see a lot of dysfunction in people that are convinced that they don't want to think about something because thoughts create your reality. It's not really where that paradigm works. Just thinking something doesn't make it like an attraction force to you. Thoughts create your reality by the way that you can understand and action your alignments, your actions, your thought patterns, everything towards what you want. But it's very important that we have the ability to go through things. Like, I'm afraid that I'll lose everything. I'm afraid that something will happen. I'm afraid that no one will love me. I'm afraid that I won't be safe. Great. So what it would feel like to actually be unsafe? Black Panther says, ignite your power and go through that. And do it with yourself or in a therapeutic model or with practitioners or something, but embrace it, put it on the table, get it out, deal with it, right? Which means it might be worth having a session with someone and saying, I don't know where this comes from, but I'm afraid of this and I've identified that and I don't know what to do with it. In that therapeutic space, it's got a lot of boundaries. When it's out in the physical reality, you can work with it, understand it, and then decide what thoughts you're going to have towards moving forward. Those thoughts create your reality, not, I don't want to even think about that because then it'll get closer to me. I think that's avoidance for me, and that can be spiritual bypassing. Black Panther says, let's go through it. Let's go through the fear. Let's understand it, knowing that you're powerful enough. Beautiful. And up in 5D, as part of this training program about how you're going to use your enormous capacity to serve, not conquer, compete, or feel superior to others, is the fairy wren. So big totems in the bottom centers, lighter totems in the top, which says you're going to try a few different things. In understanding how to serve humanity, your community, the environment, whatever you like, try a few different things, sample from different environments, try a few things on for size, and learn and gather wisdom and experience along the way. It doesn't seem like there's one predictable outcome, and don't get too blindsided or stubborn on one predictable outcome. Fairy Wren says, focus on gathering the information of what might work. So does making content work? Does running a workshop work? Does starting a group work? Does joining a hobby work? Like, what works for you? Starting a business? Move into the realities of all of them. Gather a little bit from every single one. There's a little bit of knowledge here and a little bit of information there and something else going here, and sample it all. So in 5D, you have that experience that there's not just one way and there's not just two ways, because a lot of people just go into fight and flight. I either stay or go, it either happens or it doesn't. I either succeed or I fail. It's not like that. It's like sampling different environments, staying open and flexible to all timelines, and using that plasticity in your brain to comprehend and understand, in how many ways could I serve humanity? In how many ways could I use my intelligence for good? In how many ways could I use my excess energy to serve other people or to help them or to guide them? Beautiful questions to do some journaling about. Thank you. This has been your reading. Come and join us in Patreon. It's a really awesome community. We do readings, we do 21-day challenges, we have book club, we have live stream divination, we have channel readings as well, coaching sessions. It's a really beautiful space. And we've got a lot of courses coming up too, so check it out on the website. Thanks for watching. Love you, bye.